Hello and welcome to another edition of Ashland University Kitchen. I'm Jeff Alex, Director of Alumni Engagement, and today I'm joined by Chef Kevin Burke. Chef Kevin has been with Ashland for more than 20 years and is head of our student dining. You may recognize him from our last Ashland University Kitchen video where he walked us through how to prepare AU's famous Madrigal Feast pot roast. Today he's going to share some of his favorite holiday side dishes, a green bean casserole, bread dressing, and a cranberry orange chutney. Chef Kevin, thanks again for being with us today and walking us through how to prepare these delicious recipes.
My pleasure. Okay, we're going to get started with the green bean casserole. It's basically a combination of the traditional green bean casserole with a very popular soup that we serve here at AU, the mushroom soup. Put them together and you have a whole new dish. We're going to go butter over about a medium heat, oil, and we have garlic. Of course, you have garlic in everything, right? And then portobello mushrooms, my favorite, a whole bunch of them. And of course, they shrink down to about a third of their size. Basically what you do, it takes a little bit and they'll saute. This becomes a mushroom soup. We take the, because we have the oil and the butter in here, and when you add flour, it becomes your roux. And then get that stirred up as much as you can. And then we have dry thyme, soy and Worcestershire. Gotta like the soy and Worcestershire. Brings out a lot of the other flavors. Then what we do is we add broth. This is chicken broth. You can use anything, you could use vegetable broth. You can use, if you want this to be a total vegetarian thing. And this starts to become your saucy, soupy consistency. When it hits about 212, that's when it coagulates and starts to thicken. That's with any sauce or soup. Then we add heavy cream. And then that has to come to a simmer and thicken. Right now we have a soup consistency. I don't know if you can see that. And then we go back to the traditional and we put the onions, half of the onions, the amount of onions. These are like the turkey onions, just the regular French fried onions. You stir them in. See, we're trying to keep some of the tradition, and we're using either fresh or I use a very high quality frozen. And right now, the way it is, the quality of frozen vegetables is fantastic. Aldi's has great ones, all those different places. We get a great one from our purveyor, and we sometimes prefer it just for the stability and consistency because they're all ready to go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pour this into a pan. You could use, this is roughly the size of a 9 by 13. It's our version at in the business, in the restaurant business. It's pretty close to a 9 by 13 regular one at home. Looks like it turned out pretty darn good. All right. And then what we do is we take, this is an aged white cheddar. A lot of times people just put the onions on top. Well, why stop there? You need some real flavor here. Cheese is fat, fat is flavor. And then that can be put right in the oven. It's ready to go. You can hold it for a while before you put it in the oven, or you can just put it at 350 for 10 minutes. It should be beautiful. Okay. So this is just fresh out of the oven. It took about 20 minutes and it turned out just right. Next, we're going to do the bread dressing. It's a traditional bread dressing, only I like to add fresh herbs. We use the dry herbs, but I like the fresh sage, and it comes from my garden. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start lots of butter. How much she put in there? Lots. And we got onions. Yeah, it's about a cup each-ish. Whenever you have something that's not like a chemical reaction, like something like when you put, it's very important how much baking powder you put in something, because it's a chemical reaction you're going for. But, you know, when it comes to celery, onion, you know, if you like a little bit more celery or a little bit more onion, poultry seasoning and thyme. And poultry seasoning normally has sage, thyme, different turkey-like spices, I call them. And it all depends on which one you get. Some of them have different. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take the bread, which had been dried. You can either do it in the oven